Successful industrial and forest vegetation management requires managing resources for the long term. Dow Agrosciences leads the industry with innovative products like Garlon RTU and Garlon XRT, which are critical components of a solid, integrated pest management plan. This video demonstrates how the products work, as well as presenting application tips and techniques. Garlon RTU and Garlon XRT can be used to control or suppress a variety of woody vegetation, including alder, ash, oak, poplar, willow, and many other species. Garlon RTU is a convenient, ready-to-use herbicide used for targeted vegetation management in forestry and right-of-way applications. Garlon RTU is packaged in a jerry box, which is made from recycled corrugated cardboard combined with a water-resistant coating. The box has a high-strength 2-ply bag inside, equipped with a screw cap closure. The contents are easy to pour with no glugging. Garlon XRT controls undesirable vegetation in the forest environment and for the establishment of compatible vegetation on rights-of-way. Foliar applications are most effective after full leaf development and prior to autumn coloration. Garlon XRT can be applied as a broadcast foliar, single stem foliar, or a basal bark treatment. The basal bark method is a more selective and lower profile application method that provides year-round application flexibility. Garlon RTU is designed specifically to be applied as a basal bark treatment. Because they do not require incisions or injections to the bark of the tree, basal bark applications are more cost-efficient and less labor-intensive. The active ingredient in Garlon RTU and Garlon XRT is triclopyr. It penetrates the bark, entering the plant's vascular system, and moves to all growing points. The result is full control of the target stem. However, it is important to remember that productivity is directly related to stem density. Crews using basal bark application can treat 1 to 2 hectares per person per day. For industrial rights-of-way, productivity rates are even higher. To apply Garlon RTU or Garlon XRT as a basal treatment, a high-quality backpack sprayer is recommended. Backpacks with nitrile seals such as the SP189 are recommended, as they require less maintenance and have an internal pump which reduces the chance of leaks. Ensure that sprayers are equipped with a positive shutoff system such as a Model 28 or Model 30 gun jet. Narrow, flat fan nozzles are recommended for different basal bark application techniques. Before you handle or apply Garlon RTU or Garlon XRT, read the product label carefully. Keep herbicide contact to a minimum by making sure crew members don't have to walk through treated vegetation. Although basal bark applications can be done anytime, avoid brownout and optimize productivity by scheduling spraying during the dormant season. Cooler temperatures, lack of foliage, and the absence of biting insects allow crews to work at peak efficiency, which saves time and money. Every crew should have the necessary personal protective equipment, as well as the proper emergency response equipment on hand. Emergency response equipment may include product information, label and MSDS, communications, map of spray site, emergency response plan, spill kit, first aid kit, measuring device, soap and fresh water for cleaning, spill containment, spare personal protective equipment, in addition to other provincially regulated or job site required equipment or information. To reduce the potential for exposure when dispensing Garlon RTU, applicators should wear protective head and footwear, a face shield or goggles, and chemical-resistant gloves when dispensing. A respirator may also be worn but is not a label requirement. Use Garlon RTU straight from the container. No need to mix or add additional dilutants. To reduce the potential for exposure when applying Garlon RTU, applicators should wear protective head covering, chemical-resistant footwear, clean coveralls, chemical-resistant gloves. To reduce the potential for exposure when dispensing Garlon XRT, applicators should wear protective head and footwear, a face shield or goggles, chemical-resistant gloves, and an impermeable apron when mixing. A respirator may also be worn but is not a label requirement. Garlon XRT can be diluted with either mineral or vegetable oil to create a basil bark solution. With the streamline technique, the applicator sprays either Garlon RTU or a 13 to 19% solution of Garlon XRT, diluted with mineral oil in a 5 cm band 30 to 50 centimeters above ground level. There's no need to treat to the root collar. However, to achieve 100% control, all stems within a clump must be treated. If the stem is less than 8 centimeters in diameter, treat only one side of the stem. Larger stems up to 15 centimeters in diameter must be sprayed on 2 sides. For optimal productivity, the streamline technique works best for young stems less than 8 centimeters in diameter. As the treatment mixture moves around the stem, it spreads laterally through the bark, effectively treating the entire stem with a single or at most 2 spots of application. With the one-sided technique, the applicator sprays either Garlon RTU or a 13 to 19% solution of Garlon XRT diluted with mineral oil. Spray the basal parts of at least one side of each stem to thoroughly wet the lower 30 centimeters, including the root collar area, but not to the point of runoff. However, to achieve 100% control, all stems within a clump must be treated. This treatment is very effective on smaller stems and tough-to-control species. As the treatment mixture moves around the stem, it spreads laterally through the bark, effectively treating the entire stem with a single application. Performance of this technique can be affected by moss or moisture near the base of the tree. Ensure that treatment occurs to the root collar. Use Garlon RTU or Garlon XRT to prevent resprouting and reduce repeat cutting of larger diameter stumps, particularly on species where basal sprouting or root suckering may occur. Apply either Garlon RTU or a 13 to 19% solution of Garlon XRT in mineral oil to the cut surface of any size stem. All sides of the stump, including the root collar, must be thoroughly treated. This treatment can be combined with mechanical or manual brush cutting methods. Garlon RTU containers do not require rinsing. The cardboard can be recycled and the bag should be recapped and placed in a bag or in one of the jerry boxes for pickup. Not only does this save time, recycling the boxes and liners minimizes the environmental impact. The box itself is comprised of a minimum of 80% post-consumer recycled material. The plastic components are 60% lighter in weight than the equivalent-sized high-density polyethylene bottles. The compact size of the empties saves more than 6 times on fuel for shipping the containers back. Add to that the reduced potential for exposure to the applicator, and this packaging makes environmental and economic sense. Garlon XRT containers should be triple rinsed with mineral oil and made unusable. Rinsate should be added to the spray mixture and then used according to provincial regulations. Spray equipment used for basil bark applications should be rinsed with mineral oil, not water, so future use of equipment is not compromised for basil bark treatment. It is essential that crews be well trained before starting a low-impact vegetation management program. In forest management application programs, crew logistics and area control play a substantial role in treatment efficiency and cost management. Place spray nozzles in a vertical position to minimize overspray. With a streamlined treatment, a single sweeping side-to-side motion will efficiently provide adequate coverage of the stem circumference. Apply a spot along the stem that is approximately 2 to 3 centimeters long. For stems less than 8 centimeters, use a streamline method. Use a double streamline treatment for stems that are between 8 centimeters and 15 centimeters. During basil bark applications, it is essential that the target stem get full coverage to ensure total control. Full coverage is indicated by the stain arising from the mineral oil wrapping fully around the stem. A low-pressure stream will minimize product overuse, but still ensure the target stems are getting full coverage. If the stem is saturated from heavy rainfall, postpone the basil treatment until the bark has dried. If wet stems are treated, the herbicide will not penetrate the bark, resulting in failure of the treatment. When plants are dormant, use the highest label rate of Garlon XRT to ensure full control of the target stems. When releasing crop trees, spray the basal bark application away from the crop tree to minimize any crop exposure. Placing the nozzle within a centimeter or two of the target stem ensures you are getting accurate placement and minimizing waste. Extensive research demonstrates 90 to 100% control 1 year after a basal bark treatment of Garlon RTU or Garlon XRT. The results are consistent for all basal bark techniques when done properly. The focus on the environmental stewardship and total resource management continues to grow. Basal bark treatments are an important way to meet these demands. With Garlon RTU and Garlon XRT from Dow Agrosciences, vegetation managers have an easy-to-use, highly effective product for basal bark treatments with a low environmental profile and low-impact results. It delivers broad-spectrum control without needing extensive equipment. Maximize productivity, safety, and efficiency with Garlon RTU and Garlon XRT.